Well, hello, everyone. We want to welcome you to Respect Our Vote. We're out here live today. We're in Kalamazoo, and the Black Voters van. I'm actually sitting in the van in the parking lot outside of Insomnia Cookies, right here by Western Michigan University's campus. But we are having an online brunch. But for those of you who are joining us live and y'all hungry and y'all want to eat with us, we got brunch for you too. So if you pop up here to the parking lot where Insomnia Cookies are, and you tell us you heard us on live, we will give you brunch, free brunch in a bag. So that being said, I want to go ahead and introduce ourselves. I am Stephanie Moore. I am the convener for the Black Women's Roundtable here in Kalamazoo. We have an awesome opportunity today to partner with some amazing young folks to talk about the vote. Black Voters Matter, Black Youth Vote, and some things that we're doing because Natalya, today is National Voter Registration Day. Get it.
Yes.
So I want to introduce you to my co-facilitator. Today. Her name is Natalya Henderson. She is a organizer, a political organizer. She has been on the ground, shaking and moving, advocating, empowering, and doing incredible work here in Southwest Michigan. Natalya, take it away, sis.
Yes, thank you, Stephanie, for that warm introduction. Yes. Thank you for, combining, putting this together. I'm so excited. We have a lot of great people on the panel today. I'm so interested in really advocating for youth and youth voice in this political space. And so I'm so glad we could sit here. And I think it's just all women today. So that makes it just even better. All Black women, young Black women, and so that we can have space and create space to talk about the things that we want, the things that we need, and so that we are all on the same page. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, with us today, we have some amazing young women. We have Jakayla Lipsey. She is the coordinator for our Black Youth Vote. She's doing a lot of work right now around voter registration. And we have Amira Moore. She also is our Black Youth Vote coordinator here in Kalamazoo. She's done an incredible amount of work these last 7-8 months on Census. And I'm going to allow you to introduce our other guest, Natalya.
Yes, and we have Deunique Dorris, who is, I can't remember your title, but she's with VSU, Western Michigan's Black Student Union.
Director of Outreach.
Yeah, I was about to mess it up. I was going to say Outreach Director. Okay, so yes, and Deunique does other things around campus. She's very involved, very hands-on, and Deunique's also from Grand Rapids, so she's really she did some things in Grand Rapids as well, and being in Kalamazoo. So yes.
Awesome. That's what's up. So ladies, why don't you just take a minute, and we're going to start with Deunique, and just kind of introduce yourself, some of the work that you're doing, and give us a little shout out about National Voter Registration Day.
Well, my name's Deunique. Thanks for the introduction, Natalya. So I am a second year at Western, and I'm here representing Black Student Union on campus, but I also work with Next Gen as a fellow, getting youth registered to vote and encouraging voting, as well as kind of like collecting people to be more involved in active voting and encouraging others to vote as well.
Awesome. Amira, come through, sweetie. Unmute yourself. Oh, there you are, Amira. Go ahead, introduce yourself. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got kicked out. I'm sorry. Can y'all hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Just speak up a little bit.
Hello, my name is Amira Moore. I am one of two of the Black Youth Vote outreach coordinators, working closely with our nonprofit here in Kalamazoo, Mothers of Hope, trying to push the importance of completing your census survey as well as voting in this upcoming election in November. I've been doing a lot of work
Awesome.
early in the year, mostly before the
Who else we got?
quarantine. Um, Hello.
Go ahead. We're listening.
Oh, before the quarantine, um, using Mothers of Hope as a headquarters to draw my community members in, fill out their census survey, go over that for them if they need the help to do it. I've done educational panels to basically share more light on why the census is important and how it does affect us here on our local level, for getting us the resources and tools that we need to survive as a community.
She got to bring my hotspot back.
Okay, I think we are going to.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amira, for that. Stephanie gonna have to mute herself, and then we can go ahead. Jakayla, would you mind introducing yourself and the work that you're doing?
You guys, so we're just having just a little bit of technical difficulty, so y'all just bear with us. Can you hear me okay, ladies?
Yes,
Yes.
I can hear you. I think Kayla's just frozen on my end.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Too.
Yes,
Yeah?
we can hear you.
Yes.
It's okay to respond.
So basically, she can't hear us.
Yeah, that's what it is. She can't hear us, but we can hear each other. Yes, it might just be a little bit of a lag there. So let's get reconfigured. Well, how are you ladies doing while they get that all together?
Doing great.
Well, I'm doing fine. I'm locked in my room currently because my toddler is trying to get in to sabotage everything I have going on.
Of course, Tyler
But
life.
other than that, okay.
So, Natalya, it is National Voter Registration Day. Talk to us about the importance of voter registration, and then we're going to kick off some questions to our panel.
Okay, do you have your connection and everything together now, Steph?
I believe so.
Okay, cool. So yes, today is National Voter Registration Day. So there is a big push across the nation, so that different organizations, different individuals, we're all coming together to talk about the importance of voting, being registered, and all that is encompassed with that. I think everyone is kind of hammering in today just because we're getting closer to the voter registration. Well, not a deadline, let me not say that, because you can register to vote the day of the election with the proper documents. So I do want to throw that out there. This is just a push, whereas we want everyone to get registered so that all paperwork is in and that we don't have any delays later in the process. So I know our Secretary of State is working hard, but again, we just want to minimize anything that could go wrong. We want to make sure that our vote is counted. And so specifically, we would love to get our audience. If you have not been registered, you can put it in the comments. You can message us. We could send you a link. You can go and Google the MI Secretary of State, and you can get registered online. You can show up now to Insomnia on Howard Street, and someone can help you right in person. And so you have a lot of access. Well, you have a lot of people who have access to the information that you need. And I might be in here by myself, but yeah. Let me see what is actually going on. Kayla, can you hear me? Okay, I think we lost like everybody.
No, so Natalya, honey, I'm just playing with it to give people FaceTime. Just keep going.
Okay. Yeah, that's where we are. If anyone needs any assistance with that or have not been registered to vote, or if you are uncertain if you're registered at your current address or if you've moved during this pandemic, then we can help. We're here to help. We can come to you if you need that as well, or any assistance. We can do a FaceTime. We're all about all of us. Black Voters Matter, Black Youth Vote, Stephanie, myself, any of us are very much willing to assist in making sure that we turn out the vote this election, because it's more critical than ever. I know people hear that time and time again, but now we've seen what has happened as a result of us specifically not showing up at the polls. And we want to correct that this time going forward. We deserve better as a people. We deserve better as a country. And it's not just about the presidential election, which, of course, this is a presidential year. But we have to also pay attention to our local municipalities, people who are running for our school board, people who are running for our city council, people who are running for our county commissioner. We have a lot of work to do. And we want to make sure that not only are we voting, but we're making an educated and informed vote. So I am going to popcorn to Stephanie.
Yeah. So actually, Jakayla, can you talk a little bit about Black Youth Vote, the voter registration, and what all you have been doing?
Hello. So we have been out here for the last 2 days. 3 days. Today's our third day. We have been getting people registered to vote. We've been out in the neighborhood. We've been having little block parties. So far, I think one day we maybe had 17 people registered to vote, which is pretty good. So yeah, we just been out in the community trying to encourage people to vote, try to educate them, try to educate them on voting. And yeah, so we've been doing a lot of community engagement. Black Youth Vote is actually a nonprofit organization. It's been going for a minute now. So these past few months, we have been just getting people registered to vote and filling out the census.
Awesome. So we're going to talk a little bit with Deunique from the Black Student Union and see what's been going on Western Michigan University's campus.
Hey, so currently, I know for Western in particular, we're trying to set it up where it may or may not be possible for our university to not have classes on election day, so that we can get more youth and students out to vote, but that is still very much in the process. And then we are also kind of with BSU, definitely we're encouraging people to unify and come together as a community more, because that's when we're strongest, and that's more of what we need to do. Definitely, especially for getting voters out, I've been reaching out digitally, collecting volunteers, and just seeing if people want to be engaged. We've been doing petitions as well as just making calls. So a lot of what I've been doing, especially like as a fellow with Next Gen, is making those calls, reaching out digitally, because especially with COVID going on and wanting to maintain social distancing and the comfortability of students, adapting to the comfortability of students in the Kalamazoo community.
Awesome. That is so awesome. So as also in terms of voting, we also want everybody to be counted. So we're going to talk to Amira just a little bit here about the census, the importance of the census, and what do we need to do.
Okay, great.
It's my other phone. Go ahead, Amira. So Amira looks like she's having some connection issues here. So we're gonna.
It says I'm in the show now. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, Amira.
Oh, okay. Oh, I've been off the show for a second. What was the question?
The census, the importance of people filling out the census, and what's the process?
Okay. So, sorry, I was gone for a second. Basically, it's very important for us to fill out our census. The resources that come to us on our local level could be for housing resources, for like rental assistance, utility bill payments. We want to fill out our census so it can affect our children over the next 10 years as well, for Head Start services, free food and lunch. Our college students that we have, their federal Pell Grant is federally funded. Of course, that is based off of population, which is the population of our country. And pretty much each state gets a set amount of dollars to spend on their local community members for the next 10 years. So we do have to take into consideration that we have to do what we can and do our part to get those federally funded dollars, as well as share this information with other people so that they know how it's directly affecting us. Basically, you can go right online to my2020census.gov and fill out your census survey. They did send out census questionnaires in the mail. You don't absolutely have to have the code that's on your mail-in questionnaire. You can still go online to that website, my2020census.gov, do your survey without that, just fill in your address and everything. So, of course, we know that the census was only supposed to go for 30 days, but the exception of COVID-19, they did give us extended time to complete our census survey. I believe the deadline now is September 30th, which is next week. Um, to do that, I did look online and it looks like Michigan as a whole, about 70% of our population did self-respond. They did send out enumerators. I even had a census enumerator come to my house, knock on my door to make sure that I did my census this year. That was about mid-June when they started that, or mid-August too at the same time. And they'll be wrapping up again on September 30th to start the process of actually getting the count done officially. When you do answer your survey, it's very simple questions. It's just your name, each name of the member in your household, children included, family members that's staying up with you, doubled up included. They just want the name, your age, birthday, your race. Um, Really simple. It doesn't ask if you're a U.S. citizen. Basically, it's if you're in the United States on April 1st, 2020. Um, yeah, it's very easy. It literally takes less than 10 minutes to fill out. So that's another thing that we've been trying to get our Black community, especially, to realize. Like, it doesn't take long. It is a law that you have to do your census survey. Um, let's see what else. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I think you've done a very good job, Miss Amira, of talking about the census. So I want to bring our panel back on, and we just kind of do a little round robin of why voting
Everybody's
and
gone.
being counted is so important. And so, one, I want to take just a quick pause break and tell you all that we are out here in the parking lot of Insomnia Cookies right here by Western's campus. If you want to come out and join us, feel free. We also got food. We got brunch in a bag for you and some swag material. So if you're looking for the Black Voters Matter, you're trying to get a face mask, a t-shirt, some other stuff, we got you. But more important, Natalya, what they can do is they can come and register to vote. Today is National Voter Registration Day. We want to make sure that we get everybody registered to vote. So come check us out. You'll see the Black Voters Matter bus in the parking lot, and we got you. So Natalya, let's talk about voting in Michigan. What should people expect?
People should expect delays. There are a lot of changes, and I want to be completely realistic. I want to be completely transparent. In many precincts, we have experienced lines at the polls on election day. We have experienced delays with our United Postal Service. And so talking about the Postal Service in particular, as far as absentee voting goes and absentee ballots and getting your ballot returned and counted and everything, we are highly encouraging people to return their absentee ballots if that's the way that they are choosing to vote. I would say at least 2 to 2.5 weeks prior to election day. We don't want to say a week because we have had a lot of instances in different counties where ballots have not been counted or just an array of issues. So just to make sure that we are prompt and we're giving the clerks enough time to process and to count and all of these things, we want to make sure that we can get those returned as soon as possible. In the event that one may change their vote or they don't think that their ballot has been received in a timely fashion, you can always go and soil your ballot. And so spoiling your ballot is a process that not a lot of many people know about, but you can go in on election day or and say, hey, I want a new ballot. I want to spoil my other one because I think it got lost in transit. And that's totally okay. You don't have to give a reason. You can go in and say, I just changed my mind. One of my candidates, I thought that they were this person when I researched the things that they were doing. However, I want to vote a different way for whatever your reason may be for going back and getting a new ballot or even getting it to change your vote. So I do want to let people know that that is an option and a possibility. And yes, and we are 41 days now from election day. So I just want to keep that on people's radar. Like, take a friend, create a plan. If you and your roommate are both registered at your home, like, let's say, hey, I'm going to drive. We can ride together. Like, let's make a plan. Let's set the time because we don't want anyone to kind of get swept under the rug. We're all very busy. We have a lot going on, but we really want to prioritize voting. So we have to be very intentional about it because we have a lot to lose, just to be very clear about that. So I think you're muted, Steph. We can't hear you, Steph.
Do you need to talk about why it's important to vote for millennials and Generation Z folks? Why is it in this election we should show up and show out?
It's important to show up and show out because a lot of people don't realize that we still have a system above us and what we can and cannot do. But you want someone in power that will listen to you or that you believe that you can have an influence on. So especially when it comes to building community and our voices have the influence to affect change. And we also have to put action into that. So we can't just vote and expect things to fall in place, but we can't just stop at voting. We have to vote and keep speaking out against what we think is wrong and what we want to see. Because there are people that will listen, but also it's all about what we do and what we continue to keep doing. So it may not seem like for us that our voice matters, but in the long term, it does matter. And I know a lot of people are conflicted with the two candidates that we do have, but the candidates, there are two candidates, but there's one better than the other one. And you might want to have one over the other one. And then in the end, you have a lot of people that end up complaining about the person that they do have in power or the things that aren't working out, but they didn't go out and vote. So you have to think of it in the terms of the future and not just now, but also putting in the words and the action that you want to see, and putting someone in place that will listen to our needs and demand.
I agree, Deunique. It's definitely, as far as when it comes to the presidential election, like we have to choose what is best for us right now. That may not be the most perfect person. We also have to be realistic and understanding that we as individuals are not perfect people. So we have to find someone who will listen to us, who will advocate for us. And I'll leave that one right there. I think I did want to ask you all, as Black women, because it seems like, this how this panel ended up being. It wasn't intentional at all. But how do you feel being a Black woman? Do you feel like your vote has ever felt less value than your counterparts, and your peers? How do you guys feel about that? I will say, I know doing this work, we have like more of an insight into the process and the ins and the outs and how we can get around certain barriers. But I think people who may not be as familiar with the process often say like, hey, I don't want to vote because I don't think my vote counts. Hey, I'm not interested in voting because this happened, although I planned for this to happen. And so what would you say to those people? How do they remedy feeling that way? Or can you even empathize with them? And this is just to anyone.
I think recognizing that it's something bigger than ourselves helps, because it's a situation where you might not immediately see a difference or immediately see change in, like, especially when it comes to your personal lives. But it's something that takes time. And I think with being a Black woman in voting, I haven't really ever looked at it as I'm a Black woman voting, but that as a Black woman and with my voice, I should be able to use it in whichever way that I can, especially like women and being Black have been suppressed for a lot of time throughout history. So most definitely, like, knowing the power in my voice that it has and the different opportunities that I can use to use it and present it to people. It could be influential, especially for younger voters too, or younger future voters. So recognizing those things, and then recognizing who you want to see in power and what steps you can take, or even how you can influence someone to take over and be in that power.
Anyone else want to add anything?
Well, I definitely want to make sure that people know and understand the process, especially if we're talking to or getting information to first-time voters. That one, you can register to vote in Michigan. We have what's called same-day voter registration, which means that you can all the way up until election day before the polls close, register and vote that same day. I encourage everyone that is interested in voting in this general election that you register as soon as you can. You can do that easy online. You can go right to michigan.gov/vote and register to vote. And if you are already registered to vote, you can actually verify your voter registration. And so making sure that you are registered, that you know where you're registered. It will also give you the directions to your polling location. It will show you your sample ballot of what specifically will be on your ballot. So going online to michigan.gov/vote, you can do that from your phone, a computer, a tablet. Or if you're looking to register to vote, Jakayla or Amira, tell folks how they can do it in person.
Well, you can actually come visit me right now downtown on campus by Insomnia Cookies, and I can register you to vote in person. We also have a couple events this Black Youth Vote has put on a bonfire and Fireside Chat for Friday night. We'll have s'mores. We'll have a local DJ No Limit that will be DJing. We'll have just things to do, educate you guys. We'll have a conversation of like the one we're having now. Um, yeah, this Friday. Yeah, be there or hear about it.
Ladies, any other suggestions on how people can do in person filling out a voter registration? Is the Black Student Union, are you all involved in doing on campus voter registration or any events?
Currently, not right now, but something that we consistently encourage is community and unifying together. I think in the near future, we're going to probably hopefully try and do a little bit more with encouraging youth to vote, especially in our community. I know that I personally sometimes I'm in our group chats and I'll just send a bunch of different things that are in relation to voting and just different events that are made for encouraging youth to vote. But hopefully we can do a little bit more, especially trying to reach out with incoming freshmen and those younger voters and making sure they're registered and can have access to voting, especially if they are on campus.
I do want to add to the piece about students who are on campus and specifically at Western Michigan University. We Vote is the campus initiative that kind of does a lot of work around civic engagement and things of that nature. And so We Vote also partners with a lot of community organizations like League of Women Voters, Next Gen Michigan, it's lapsing me who else, but it's a collective effort. It's not just We Vote, but it's a lot of other voices at the table to find the best ways and best practices of how to target students specifically on campus. And other people are allowed to interject, give feedback. There are a lot of student representatives on that board who are everyday students, go to class, and they're talking to their peers and they're finding the best practices and ways to target those first-time voters, those second-time voters, basically those new voters and students who are on campus. Yeah.
So ladies, Jakayla and Deunique, can you talk specifically about some issues that young voters care about? Are there any policies? Is anything around criminal justice or housing or even the cost of school tuition? What is it that really young people, young adults care about?
I think that there's a lot of different things that everyone cares about individually, especially with everything recently going on with Black Lives Matter. But I think what most things that I've recently noticed is the importance of unifying and the importance of unifying together and finding those different things to also kind of be self-sustainable in Black communities and being financially stable and creating those generational wealths. And I think those are currently, more recently, what I've been hearing from Black students and students of color at WMU.
So Jakayla, you're a parent raising two beautiful children. What is it that young people what is it that you're hearing that young people care about?
I'm not really sure about like in our vulnerable. Um, if you don't mind speaking on challenges I face in those communities when it comes to voting, um, I find that a lot of people that I went to school with, I graduated in 2016. I find that a lot of people aren't interested in knowing how to get here too, but now like seeing how it's a different process. More to be like to be more active in this world and knowing that
Kayla, I want to stop you for a second. You're kind of going in and out here, and I want everyone to be able to hear what you're saying. And I don't know if it's because maybe the air is blowing into your microphone a little bit, but you just like move, just change maybe your position a little bit, and then just give us what you gave before.
That it looks like you might got a little bit better reception now.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. I was saying that I faced a lot of challenges when it comes to getting people that I grew up with, well, my generation, to vote. It seems that they don't really care about it too much, especially in the most vulnerable parts of the city. It's not entertaining to them. It's not, it's not the new Jordans. So why am I voting if it's not even about Jordans? If it's not about this, it's not about that. But I've learned to also like figure out what do they like, what in the community do they like, what entertains them, and kind of like put that into voting, try to squeeze that in there. So you kind of got to bring to them like things that are interesting in them, and then somehow try to create, the word's not coming to me, but just try to engage more with them. um a lot more people are realizing this year the things that are really going on in our city, our state. I think this year is an eye opener for everybody. I think this year will be a good year when it comes to the political field. So yeah, I think this might be.
So, both for all three of you ladies, let's talk a little bit about race. Race is an issue. Race always matter. I saw recently where faculty and staff at Western Michigan University put out a letter about racism on campus and how that impacts employees and students. We've seen Jakayla and Natalya here in Kalamazoo, where everything from defund the police to Black Lives Matter to just how racism, structural racism plays a part in our daily lives. Can you talk about being a young Black woman in America, in Kalamazoo, maybe facing oppression, microaggressions, and how do you cope? And what do you do to get through that?
That's so funny, Stephanie, because that was my question and you just took it. Okay, co-facilitator. But I guess I would love to start this. What I really want to interject, because I think sometimes we have different conversations, and with us being Black women, we have to drill down and understand that our experience is of being a Black woman. And sometimes we generalize that and we don't give ourselves enough space to breathe, to be heard, to cry if we want to cry about it, and just to be vulnerable and really get our point across. And so I love that you did bring this up. But I think a lot of times, whether it's in these institutions, whether it's school, being at a university, especially like PWIs, predominantly white institutions, or if it's in other organizations you're talking about at work, you are faced with different levels of like structural racism, and it's embedded into I'm trying to say, like the organizations as a whole. And I think the conversation is so important because a lot of times people and our peers and our white peers specifically don't really understand what it means to not only just be a Black person, but to be a Black woman specifically. How we have to, whether it's in work scenarios, changing our hair or feeling the pressures of changing our hair, because that's one of those things that's deemed unprofessional. Or when I tell you that I'm working hard at this, because it's something that I'm passionate about. And then your question with, well, why are you doing that? It really undermines who we are as women, our place in specifically this political space. And it seems like us just living is political, and which is very sad. And so it's always like, not only are we advocating for everybody, we have to still, at the end of the day, within that, try to advocate for ourselves, because we're still not respected, not valued. And it's like the little hamster on the wheel. It's just a revolving process, and you're just continually doing it over and over again. And for me personally, I'm exhausted. Being completely honest, I am exhausted. And you're expected to show up every day, being 100% and doing everything for everybody. And it's problematic. And I'm going to just leave it there. But I'm sure I'm not the only one feeling that. I'm sure you ladies can probably echo many of the same sentiments. So,
yeah, especially so.
I think Steph, you might be on
mute.
Go ahead, Deunique.
I was gonna say, especially so, it's with situations with Western. A lot of it is stuff that, especially with Black Student Union, stuff that we've already noticed before and that we speak out against. And I feel with WMU, they don't listen until it's last minute, or they'll give you like small victories that make it seem like they're actual victories, but they really aren't. And a lot of the race issues that Western's been experiencing, we've addressed before. And I think at a point like this, like, we're tired of repeating the same things over and over again and nothing's being done. And we just have to keep taking different approaches. And I feel like, especially with Western, because it is a predominantly white school, but also there is, or PWI, predominantly white institution or university. A lot of it is because they're such a public school. I think that they don't pursue action until it goes public. So that's when they start doing things to kind of make it seem more comfortable in the situations, because Western is a public school and like they don't want their image to be, say, like, messed up in ways. But a lot of it, it's just, we have to do more than just like demand, and it takes a lot more action to put in and more people speaking out against a lot of the injustices, because I think a lot of the ideas that we've gotten too comfortable with everything that's been going on, and that it seems normal when it shouldn't seem normal at all. And that's where like definitely more action comes in and speaking out so that change can be made.
Amir, so what are your thoughts being a mom, dealing with racism, oppression? Talk to us about the young woman's struggle. Amira, can you hear us? Oh, maybe not. So I want to be just let folks know that there is support at Mothers of Hope. We definitely have a lot of work that we do with women, particularly. We specifically target Black women, women of color, because of our disparities, because of our health outcomes, and even economically, when we talk about being able to create generational wealth. We want to talk to our Black women and all women of color about these are the things that you need to do in order to gain the strides that you want to gain, in order to overcome or be resilient through issues of microaggressions, structural racism, oppression, all those things that we're dealing with on an everyday basis just because we have melanated skin. But I want people to know too, Deunique and Natalya, that that's not the end of it. Racism is hard. Being Black is not hard. So if we were not oppressed or had biased opinions against us, we would be just fine. So what we need for the folks who do not value us, who do not understand or appreciate culture, who are not able to treat people fairly, we need you to change your mind and your heart in the way that you are dealing with human beings. So it's not us. we're okay, we good. We need to send the message to those folks that anti-racism training is available for you. Learning how to do anti-racism work when it comes to policy and budgeting. That is all of us in this together. Amira, so I see that you're with us. We were talking about racism, being young in America, being a parent. What are your thoughts? Mira, there you go. Uh-oh, I think she's froze again. So, Natalya, Mira, if you can hear us, just shake your head yes, so we know that you're there. Natalya, so what's next in terms of the election that's coming up? We see in this political campaign where the person occupying the White House is just spewing hate and rhetoric and divisiveness. What do we need to do? What's the action on the ground for young people?
I think I would say both young people and us doing this work, because we can see both sides of things, right? Being one who sometimes received the hate from our leadership or lack thereof, or the person that is supposed to be that leader. I think we have to learn to not only just educate, but educate with compassion, and not just something that I did post about recently is the fact that I have heard a lot of like political ads, and it's more so of organizations trying to use fear as a tactic of like, if this isn't, what you're going, if you're not voting, then this is going to happen. And it's something very negative, one of those like dark things that you hear on Pandora spewing around. And it's more so to like scare you versus to educate you and say, these are the possibilities that we can have. Messaging is everything. And so if we are continually putting out negativity and hate, people are going to be turned off and disgusted from going to vote and everything that comes with being civically engaged. And so I think that we have a lot of work to do in specifically targeting people. So one of my bigger things that I like to focus on is education. And it's really personal to me growing up in Detroit, going to a Detroit public high school and understanding the funding structure, something that Stephanie talked about. It's advocating for education is very personal because I had to do it for myself being a student. It's not like I'm doing it for someone because it just sounds cool. This is something that is continuously threatened to be taken away from me or underfunded or whatever the case may be. And so making it personal, and I think that's one of those things that we can do as far as like educating voters. And so I guess just really charging in and focusing in on exactly what your top priorities are. So because mine is education, because I'm familiar with education and the realms and the barriers that are within that, like making sure that personally I am attacking that head first. Whereas on the other side of the spectrum, something else may not be my thing, but I can work with this group of people who I have outreach to, where I have some familiarity with. That word always trips me up, but I love to say it for whatever reason. Familiarity with, and making sure that we are on the same accord, and then we all just work in small groups and not feel like we have to tackle the world. And that's one of those things that I am being very intentional about. And that's just me stepping back into that. I never step out, but just having on that Black woman hat, but then also maybe in other roles of being an organizer and activist or whatever I may be for that day. So just making sure that we make it personal, and especially stop with the different fear tactics, to just try to encourage people to vote. So you're right. Can't hear you a bit, Steph. We can't. Oh, we might be in. Maybe.
I probably should just unmute.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So before we wrap up, so we have been doing, Natalya, just so that you know, an online campaign trying to really influence individuals to go vote. And we're using visuals that we think might be appealing to folks, that they might see this and think that, you know what, maybe this voting is about me. Maybe I should care. So I want to show just a few of the images that we continue to post daily on social media. And you can go to the Mothers of Hope Facebook page. You can also go to Black Youth Vote Kalamazoo Facebook page. We are on Instagram and Twitter as well. And so we have a lot of good messages that we're putting out here for young people, especially millennials, Generation Z, or anyone that wants to participate in the political process. And you think that it doesn't matter, you think that this doesn't speak to you, we want you to know that you do matter. Black voters matter, especially the millennial and Generation Z. Black youth vote. And we want to make sure that you all have the information so that you are empowered to participate overall in this process. We have on-site voter registration, where we will be in different places in the community. We have online voter registration, and we will post that link, Natalya, for everybody, so that they can do it. If you want to do it from the comfort of your cell phone, your tablet, your laptop, you can do that online. Again, you can always go to michigan.gov/vote. And register to vote at any time. That line is open 24 hours a day. It's online. And again, it's very user friendly, from the cell phone, the tablet, the laptop. Make sure that you do that. We want everybody, especially young people, register to vote, verify your voter registration. We want to make sure that if you want to vote via absentee ballot, that you request your absentee ballot. And if you go to michigan.gov/vote, you can request your absentee ballot online as well. You can also go into the polls on, you can go to the clerk's office. Right now, you can go into your local clerk office if you live in the city, the township, in Oshimo, in Portage, in Texas Township, wherever your local office is, you can go in and vote now via absentee ballot, which means you just take your ID, you get your ballot, you can vote it, sign it, return it, and you're done. You can also get your absentee ballot mailed to your house. You can vote in the comfort of your own home. Just make sure you complete your entire ballot. When you put your ballot back into the secret envelope that you mail it in, make sure you turn that envelope around and sign it. A lot of people, Natalya, forgot to sign their ballots. So please make sure that you sign that ballot before you take it in. If you don't want to put your ballot in the mail, which we understand, then drop your ballot off at the city clerk, township clerk, Oshimo, Portage, wherever your local clerk is. You got to go to your local clerk's office and you can return that ballot. Most of them have a drop box. So if you go after hours on the weekend, Sunday, 10 o'clock at night, put it in the drop box. They have security cameras there. It will be safe. For those of you who just want to, if you like me, you going into the polls, go ahead and rock your vote in the polls. The polls are open on Tuesday, November 3rd from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can go in and vote. And just remember, in Michigan, you do not have to have a photo ID to vote. You can go in with your name and your address. You can get your ballot and you can go vote. In Michigan, you can be a felon. You can have a criminal record. As long as you are not incarcerated in a state prison, as long as you have not been convicted, you have the right to vote. So we want to make sure, no matter who you are, where you live, what your circumstances are, whatever your background is, you have a right to participate in this political process. And we are here, Black Student Union, Black Youth Vote, Mothers of Hope, Black Voters Matter. We're here in Kalamazoo to help you get that done. So again, I want to make sure that I let you know also some of the events that we have coming up. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and we will be hustling and voting We have our
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Oh, wait, today's Tuesday, right? No, I said
tomorrow Wednesday.
Tomorrow, Wednesday at noon, we are doing Hustle and Vote. Come on out with DJ Chuck. We will be downtown at the Arcadia Festival site. It's free. It's open to everybody. If you on your lunch break, taking a break, you're tired of Zoom and all of that, come on out and kick it. We have music, snacks, voter registration. You can complete your census online. Later on, after work, you can join us again for Hustle and Vote. At 6 p.m., we're going to be on the South Side at the Vine Neighborhood Association. We're outside. We have face masks. Of course, we're social distancing, but we're having a super, super time. And then, Natalya, we're going to play some card games, some good fives to have a community fellowship. We got spades, bid whiz, Uno, Tunk, whatever you want. We got it on Thursday. Join us at the Mothers of Hope office. We're located at 603 Ada Street. We will be outside. Again, face mask, social distancing. If you don't have it, we got it for you. And then I'm gonna let Jakayla talk about Friday. You gotta unmute.
Yeah, so Friday we will be having a bonfire and fireside chat at Miss Stephanie's Patterson Palace. We will have food, games, drinks, music. We have a DJ coming to spin some beats with us. And we're just gonna, roast our marshmallows, make our s'mores, and, just have a little chat. Like back in, Friday night chat. So yeah, come out. You don't want to miss out. You can register on a link that is posted on our Black Youth Vote Kalamazoo page. If you register, we do have a free t-shirt for you. So yes, make sure you register for our events. Make sure you come out, and yeah, let's just have a good time.
And Stephanie, I want you to go back and elaborate on why Black Voters Week was even put together. Who are some of the sponsors? Because I think all these different organizations and individuals are doing great work, and why all of this has come together, because it's such a beautiful thing.
So absolutely. We are targeting specifically African-American voters because of this disparity, the disenfranchisement. And so we have a lot of partnering organizations locally here in Kalamazoo. Of course, we have Mothers of Hope is our sponsoring organization. Within Mothers of Hope, we partner with Black Voters Matter. Within Black Voters, with Mothers of Hope, we also have, you heard us talk about earlier, Black Youth Vote. And we're specifically targeting African-American voters because we want to increase voter participation. We want to protect the right to vote for all of our voters. And then we also want to make sure that every vote that is cast is counted. And so we are working with young people at Western Michigan University, the Black Student Union. Hey, we love our babies at BSU. We're working with the National Panhellenic. We're working with some labor organizations, some youth groups, to really come together to have a unified effort to reach out to people in our overall community. Our goal is to make sure that Black folks are ready and that we vote. And when we vote, Natalya, that every vote is counted. So that's the work that we do. We have funding from Black Voters Matter Fund, from the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, from Michigan State Voices, our Michigan Table, as well as some other folks. And Natalya, we're working on a variety of issues, from Family Paid Leave Act to making sure we're doing election protection work, to doing a lot of things so that we're engaging around our issues. At Black Voters Matter, we say that this is about us, and this is about us. This is time for the Black community to be empowered. This is a time for young people to rise up. This is time for us to take control and make change. It's no longer acceptable for us to be outside of the room, to not be privy to the conversations and the discussion. It's our time. That time is now. And like Deunique talked about, we're ready for it. Young folks, y'all ready for it. Go ahead, Deunique. Go ahead and tell them why we about to do this.
We're gonna get out, vote, keep registering people to vote, and encouraging each other to vote, because especially when you're peer-to-peer contact, you have to definitely make that communication and influence. Like, you have a little bit more influence on your peers than you probably think that you do. But especially kind of encourage them to educate themselves on how to vote and who they are probably going to be voting for, and even local policies that you could be voting for. But definitely, like, get out, register, vote, whether it's online or not online. You just got to do it because your voice matters, and there's power in your voice, and your voice can make change.
Absolutely, sis. Absolutely. So, Natalya, come on, bring it home for us, sis. Uh-oh, you on mute, baby.
Oh, look at me doing a Stephanie. No, I'm kidding. But no, what I was saying, I want to thank everyone who tuned in to this live. I'm challenging each and every one of you to text a friend, text your sister, your brother, your cousin, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, whomever. Make sure that they are voting. If they have any questions, any one of us are ready to help and assist. Like, let's get this done. It's up to us to make it happen for us. And so let's do it. That's all I have, honestly. And make sure to show up, come out to these events, social distance, if you feel comfortable. Have a lot of great things going on, a lot of positive conversations to be had. We are not going to let 2020 take us out. We are empowered, and we're going to make sure that this rest of the year, we're going to make this count, not just this election cycle and your personal lives. I'm challenging everyone to be great. Set goals, execute, work hard, and become the best versions of yourself.
Go ahead, Jakayla. Inspire the people. Give us a good word.
All right. I was seeing something on Facebook today. It was static. Make sure you bring somebody who's a first-time voter, and make sure you bring somebody who is maybe harder to persuade to vote. Either way it goes, you want to fight. This is our time to fight. Fight at the polls, show up at the polls, party at the polls. We go to the club every Friday night. We need to be at the polls, just like we went to the club, just like we went to this party. This is really important. This is the year. I really have faith that this is the year. This is going to be a great year. Besides the COVID situation, this is really a good year when it comes to the election and when it comes to Black women, of course, and just Black people all together. I think this is our year. This is our year where we're finally going to be able to get heard, if things are finally, going into action. So, yeah.
Awesome. So we want to thank all of our panelists. We know we had Amira Moore, who is the Black Youth Vote Coordinator. She was with us earlier today. She was having a little bit of technical difficulties, but that's okay. She was able to get in on this conversation. I just want to remind you all that we are live. We're on our Facebook with Mothers of Hope. You can also get this off of my county commission page as well. And we're broadcasting live on YouTube. So Natalya, Deunique, Jakayla, do you want to tell folks how they can contact you?
So, okay, so you can find me on Black Youth Vote Kalamazoo Facebook page. We also have an Instagram page. We also have a Twitter page. All of them are Black Youth Vote Kalamazoo. And I'm working on a Snapchat for our events. So I will most definitely update you guys when that comes through. But yes, Facebook, Black Youth Vote Kalamazoo, and I'm right there. Everything is right there. Everything you need to know from voting to how to vote to events that are happening in our community, and yeah, all that good stuff.
So for the Black Student Union, we predominantly use Instagram, which is just BSUWMU. And then you can contact me through my Facebook page or also my Instagram, which is just my name, Deunique Dorris. And then, yeah, so BSU's also works from, they have Twitter and Facebook, but they predominantly, like, if you go through anything, use their Instagram. But yeah.
Yeah, I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So like I represent Next Gen as well here. Next Gen does a lot of work in the youth voter education and advocacy space. And so they are a great asset of resources if you're looking for ways to get involved, be active. I also sit on the Michigan Committee for Juvenile Justice. So we are doing a lot of great work as far as trying to reform the juvenile justice system. And I do have a page where I like to keep people abreast with the things that I know that are going on and different resources that I have. It's my name /politivist. And I want to be clear about politivist because it's a word that I made up. It means political and activist. I don't like to be called a politician. I'm not solely an activist. So the combination of the two is pretty much the work inside of the community development space that I do. And so I want to be able to share resources with everyone, whether it's job opportunities or great events that are going on. So you can like that page. I try to post updates frequently or just have little discussions from time to time if, something that I would like to discuss. So that's it for me. I'm on Instagram. She is Natalya. So yeah.
And of course, you can always find Mothers of Hope. We are located right here in the heart of the community. We are located on 603 Ada Street. We're usually there in the afternoons, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can always contact us via email, or you can go to our website. You can see the website mothers-of-hope that's streaming across your screen. And that's where you can find our Black Youth Vote coordinators, Black Women's Roundtable as well. We're definitely doing a lot of work. We will be on the ground hosting events. We will be doing things between now and Election Day, which is November the 3rd. And of course, everything that we do is free. It is open to everybody. We are inclusive and we want to work and have a really good time with you. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of our midday brunch. We are still here at Insomnia Cookies. If you are looking for lunch and you hungry, come on out here. Myself, Deunique, Jakayla, Amira, we are here. We are out here in front of the Black Voters Matter van. I don't know if y'all can see it, but we out here in the parking lot. We getting it. Oh, look, y'all, there go Antoine. Hey! We have free brunch for you. So come on out here. Join us, pick up your free brunch. And matter of fact, if you come before 2:00, we probably got a free t-shirt and a face mask, a Black Voters Matter t-shirt. You can see that we're rocking them right here. And if you sign up online on the Mothers of Hope website for the events that are coming up, you can also get some free Black Voters Matter swag as well. But again, we're out here. Remember to register, to verify your voter registration. Make sure that you go online and register to vote or come and get us in our office to vote. You can also get your absentee ballot online as well. So make sure you go to michigan.gov/vote. Remember that you can also vote in your clerk's office. You can go to your local clerk's office and vote at wherever you live, Texas, Ashtamore, Portage, the city of Kalamazoo. Go to your local office. And then remember that Election Day is Tuesday, November 3rd. Polls open promptly at 7 a.m., close at 8. As long as you are in the voting location before 8 p.m., you have the right to vote and you can vote. And lastly, Natalya, I want to remind my brothers and sisters, if you happen to be in our local county jail and you're being held and you don't have a bond or you can't make bond, and if you have not been convicted, you still have the right to vote. You can vote via absentee ballot. Make sure that you ask one of the sheriff deputies, whoever's around, tell them that you want to vote. Request your absentee ballot, and we will make sure that we get it to you as soon as possible. We want everybody to vote. This is about us. Black voters matter. Black youth vote. And we are in the building to take over. Everybody give a good wave. We're going to say goodbye, but we're going to stay out here at Insomnia Cookies and give away free brunch to the folks that show up. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Bye.